Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. I'm back at one of my favorite filming spot locations because guess what? Today is a big day for this car right here. This is my 2018 Subaru WRX STI. It's a mouthful, Type RA. But before we get into what's going on with my Subi, let's talk about what's going on here. So I have owned this car behind me since 2019. I'm actually the second owner. I bought it from the original owner and it only had barely 5,000 miles on it. Now, as you know, the Type RA, they only made 500 of them. 3 colors, World Rally Blue, Black, and White. One of the things that really struck a chord with me when this vehicle came out was it being World Rally Blue with those gold forged BBS wheels. Now, I've been driving the car over the last few years and I've, for the most part, decided, you know what, I'm gonna keep it stock. But today is the day that we're gonna make a change. And one of the reasons why we're making the change is because when it comes to driving and that driving experience and the on-throttle experience, one component that's critical, to me at least, is sound. And the stock exhaust, it just doesn't have that great sound that STIs are known for. Because they have unequal length headers coming off that turbocharged flat 4 engine, you get that what's called boxer rumble, that Subaru rumble that typically you're not going to hear too much from the standard exhaust. So what I decided to do is I did research. I'm very picky on what I wanted. It had to look a certain way and it had to sound a certain way. What I decided to go with is a track exhaust, catback exhaust from AWE. Give us larger outlets, exhaust tips, plus get rid of all the resonators and all the things that quiet it up, but not make it too obnoxious. But what I want to do is I'm going to give you a sound clip of the sound exhaust, of the stock exhaust, but let me just show you real briefly what the stock exhaust looks like so then we could do a comparison. Now, one of the things I've liked about the STI is the quad tip exhaust. I wanted to definitely keep the quad tip, but I did not want the tips to extend past the rear bumper area. So with a lot of research, I found that the AWEs, they come out a little bit, but they're not gonna extend too far out. And I wanted to keep that stainless steel, sort of like polished aluminum look. I didn't want black tips, which AWE does offer. I wanted to go with something that was as close to stock as possible, but yet when you heard the rumble, you knew that something was a little different. So let's go ahead. It's already running. Let me rev up and do a little bit of a pull away so that you could hear what the stock exhaust sounds like. And then of course, I'll see you again very shortly once we have the AWE catback exhaust on. Let's get to it. All right, guys, we are inside behind the wheel of my WRX STI Type RA with the stock exhaust. And you'll see, I'll downshift the 3rd gear here. On throttle. You're not really getting a lot of sound whatsoever. You're actually getting probably more road noise and more wind noise than anything else. So it's one of those things that, for me, I really don't like to make a lot of modifications to certain vehicles, but I also want to make sure that, you know, I have the proper experience that I want with the sound, with the driving, and it's so quiet in here, it's really not even worth spending that much time focusing on creating a certain driving experience. It's one of those things that it's just quiet in here. I mean, I'm sitting here at the light. Let me just give it a couple quick revs. That's all you're getting. They used to have a sound pipe. I remember when 2015 STI came out, they used to have a sound pipe that routed sound into the cabin. They actually took that out by 2018 and didn't have that anymore. You do get some mechanical sound, which is cool, but obviously that Subaru rumble is just not there. But we're gonna go ahead. I am taking it into Wrenchmasters to have them swap out the exhaust, and we'll see how it goes. I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, so we took that little spin over to Wrenchmasters so that you could hear what the exhaust sounded like on the inside, totally stock. Wrenchmasters put the exhaust on. They were very transparent with what they were working with, but now it's time to take a look at what the finished product looks like. So, of course, I gotta show the World Rally Blue with the gold forged BBS wheels. That's the iconic color, right? That's the iconic color. When you want a Subaru STI, that's the color that you go with, and that's one of the many reasons why I wanted this Type RA. But as you swing around, we're first gonna start right on this edge. I'm actually gonna have Steven stop right about here, and I wanna show you what the finished product looks like. So you have the polished tips, which you could get the polished or the gloss black. I decided to go with the polished. I like how far the exhaust is coming back. And there is a reason why it was so perfected, and LHT Performance had to get involved to make it look as perfect as it does. Because with this car being one of 500, I really wanted the exhaust to look like it was fit from the factory, and how it was looking was not exactly how I thought it was going to turn out. And what I'm going to do is, when we go for a little drive in about T-minus a couple minutes here, I'm going to show you pictures of what I'm talking about. But as you can see, the exhaust staggered tip, the inside one comes out just a little bit further. It does have the AWE name on it, which is a nice little touch, but this is exactly what I was going for, to where it came out just enough, but not extended any further back than this. And then I'll have Steven come around and show you the quad tip exhaust. Of course, you're gonna have a larger opening than the stock exhaust. You got 3-inch openings, and it's 3-inch pipe now from where the catalytic converter is all the way back, and no mufflers. No resonators, no mufflers. This being the track version of this exhaust, I wanted to have that higher level of sound rather than keep it quiet. I mean, the boxer rumble is so iconic and something that just makes my heart pitter patter. But since we're talking about the boxer rumble, why don't I fire this up so that you could compare it to what the stock exhausts sound like. Let's go ahead and fire up my Type RA. Alright guys, we're back in my 2018 Subaru WRX STI Type RA. We have the AWE catback track exhaust on. Remember, that eliminates the mufflers. And they do have a Tour pack as well that does keep the mufflers so that you don't have as loud of a sound. But I wanted specifically the track setup, just because to let that classic STI, Subaru WRX STI rumble. But if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's see if it's any louder. On throttle, here we go. Yeah! So right away, you're definitely gonna get not only that great sound coming out the back, but it produces a little bit of extra noise kind of reverberating into the cabin. That's something that I really wanted. When you get off the throttle and on decel, you get a few pops and bangs out the back. And what AWE promises, they guarantee that you will not get a check engine light. And I do not have any check engine light on. That sound though, it's incredible. I mean, this is really how the sound of the STI should be from the factory. What's also great is that you're hearing a little bit more of the turbo noise. I guess the only thing you're not hearing is any intake. And you could put a cold air intake on the car to get a little bit more intake noise. I think I'm just gonna drive it right now like this and see how I feel about it. But I do love the sound. I was a little disappointed in how everything lined up, especially with certain guarantees that it is a perfect bolt-on fit. This is not 100% accurate. But, you know, being able to get it rectified very easily, thanks to LHT Performance, really made everything better. But it was just, one side was sticking out too far, the driver's side was sticking out too far, and the passenger side was kind of crooked to the right to where it was actually making some contact with the lower rear bumper area. But I'll put the pictures up right now so you can see what that was like and what John at LHT Performance was able to do to fix that, with cutting the exhaust, moving some of the hangers. But now I have the look and I have the sound. God, decel sounds just so harmonious. On throttle, here we go. Nice. I tell you, it just makes me love the car even more. And it's one of those things that you're not going to void your warranty by putting a catback exhaust on. Now, if the warranty's already expired, the warranty's already expired, then you can do whatever you want, but it's not going to void your warranty. The way it works is that if you change a part, any part on your car, and it winds up causing a problem to happen, they will void your warranty for that particular problem. Let me give you an example. So I put the catback exhaust, we put the catback exhaust car on my Type RA. If the headlight went out, that's not a cause of the catback exhaust. So warranty would be just fine. If I was to wire some extra driving lights into the front of the car and then the headlight went out, well then guess what? It's on me. And that's where the warranty would be voided. So don't think just because you do something, does it automatically mean your warranty goes out the window? And that goes with any type of car, truck, SUV. The one thing you have to be concerned about is that if you live in a state where they require you to have certain things on your car, for example, a muffler or a catalytic converter, and you remove that, then you're going to have problems passing your state's registration process of going to inspection and having those things processed. So just something to think about when you are making modifications is that you can do certain things that could get you in trouble with the law. But the good news is that in my state of Florida, at least in my county, I don't have to worry about that like I did back when I was in high school with my Corvette. And that's another story for a whole nother day. But I'm hoping that this has kind of opened up your eyes to what a catback exhaust, first of all, is, if you didn't know, and second of all, what are the gains from it? It's simply a sound thing. AWE says that on their dynos, they've gotten 11 extra horsepower and blah, 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 blah. I have not put this on a dyno, so I can't say yay or nay. But what it does and what I wanted is just the driving experience to be amplified, literally amplified in sound. Now, with the AWE track exhausts, I've noticed at highway speeds, it's very boomy. So if you're looking for something that, especially when you're at, like right now I'm doing 65, I'm at 4,000 RPM, it's pretty boomy. But if you're looking for something quieter, they have the Torp edition. This is the track. I'm glad that they were able to do those two things, but just something to know that when you buy an exhaust, they can guarantee from the heavens on a stack of Bibles that it's guaranteed to fit. But this was one of those cases where, thank God, I know John at LHT Performance, and he does awesome work to be able to fix it. Had nothing to do with Wrenchmasters. Wrenchmasters installed the exhaust exactly as directed, and they tried everything within their means to straighten it out. And they showed it to me before they brought the car off the lift and everything else. So transparency was there. And then, of course, they did an amazing job. Wrenchmasters did an amazing job changing my oil, changing the fluid, the diff fluid, and the 3 diffs. Because remember, the STI has 3 differentials. And also changing the gearbox fluid for the 6-speed manual. So what I could tell with them using Motul, which is one of the best brands out there when it comes to fluids, is that the gearbox even shifts better. It really, really does. A gearbox flush will do wonders for your manual transmission. I don't care what car you have. But I'm telling you, I love the exhaust, especially that second and third really makes my heart pitter patter. And I love the way that when you shift from second to third, you get a nice pop out the back. It really, I don't know, it just creates this environment where you're just like, damn, this car is badass. Let's try it one more time. You ready? Second gear. On throttle, here we go. There it is, yeah. Nice. That all-wheel drive keeping me planted. I tell you, this is one of the reasons why I've always loved STIs. I've had 3 others, and it's a very unique driving experience. Is it the fastest all-wheel drive vehicle? Maybe, maybe not, depending on which one you're driving and what you're comparing it to. But it definitely is one of the most invigorating when it comes to sound. Nothing sounds like a flat 4 in this freaking thing. God. Love it, love it, love it. But we're gonna get back and wrap this one up. I hope this has been good information that I've been bringing, and bringing you along for the drive and the journey and everything else. I love having you on the journey with me. We're gonna get back to where it all started and wrap this one up. So I'll see you in a Subaru second. All right, guys, it's been another part of this journey. I held out for such a long time, because remember, I bought the car back in 2019 off the original owner, Michael, that car collector here in the Tampa Bay area. Wanted just 500, held off putting a exhaust or really any mods on the car. And I finally just had a breakdown because I needed the sound. I needed the sound because the sound is just as epic and important for the driving experience to me as is all the other goodies that this STI Type RA brings to the table. But I definitely want to thank Wrenchmasters, LHT Performance, and all of you for tuning in. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. We got to thank the man behind the lens. Not only does he own a Type R, but he also is a big fan of the Subaru WRX and WRX STI. Not so much the current modern versions of it, but definitely anything prior, especially the early 90s. That really, for Steven, is where it hits home and hits right in his soul of his heart. So thank you, Steven, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.